a much better laning performance by Darshan than we've seen really in quite a while.
Well, apparently they did not like it because they'll ban it here as their first ban on the blue side. Fiora and Trundle actually joined the pile there, so 3 top lane carry bans taken out.
4 if you consider the Aurelia as well, which Darshan isn't as comfortable on. And maybe the Aurelia ban signals a little bit to Team Liquid. It could be a vulnerability of, hey, Darshan actually doesn't have a very wide champion pool right now. Let's target that and see if we can get Lorlo into a favorable matchup again. That's what it feels like Locodoco is trying to do here.
And now what will the last ban for CLG? Maybe Kindred. I'd giggle if it was Maokai, but it's Rise.
Karma! No, it's not going to be Karma.
The shots, though.
Yeah, this means there's a lot up. Vladimir, Swain, Kindred, all these things, but based on what Xsmithy did with Kindred last game, Dardoch's pride is on the line here. He said he could beat Kindred. He couldn't. He better be able to win with Kindred.
Yep, and they do take it for him as the first pick, but CLG pretty much knew they were giving this away, so what's the plan from this point?
Good point. Also, I don't actually know exactly what Dardoch and Locodoc were talking about. Maybe Dark was like, dude, don't give him Kindred. And Locodoc was like, no, you're going to win that matchup. So I don't want to say his pride is completely on the line. But technically, he now has the other side of the matchup.
Well, see what Xsmithy actually picks for that jungle matchup, but no need to reveal it just yet. CLG going to take their time here with picks 1 and 2. A very deliberate team in general, but particularly in drafting. Always have good plans. They have to think on the red side. They did lose that first game. We'll see if they have adapted from that game number 1. Hey, Caitlyn, Elise.
And CLG usually has drafts that draft very specifically for their playstyle. A lot of times you'll look at a CLG team composition. If you took away the nameplate on the top right of the screen that was just a generic team, you'd be like, what are they doing? Those aren't the power picks they should have. But CLG usually finds a way to make it work, and especially with the Elise and the Caitlyn very early on, you're thinking it's going to be some type of 1-3-1 with Caitlyn and Elise sitting in the mid lane.
And that's what we sort of said in game 1, where CLG did go for their power picks. They reached for the Vlad, they reached for the Swain, and then game 2, after losing that first game pretty handily, Liquid played a really nice opener. They kind of went back to basics. Give Darshan the split push, give Xsmithy the comfort aggressive jungle. Even Stixay on a pick like Caitlyn is something he's known for. And surprise, surprise, when CLG plays CLG League of Legends, they tend to win.
Yeah, it's really true. They'll need this win as well. It's so crazy that Team Liquid and CLG, 2 of the top teams from last split, one of them is going to start 0-3 after this game.
Well, Azir back in the hands of Phoenix could be troubles, and Zyra actually an addition for Matt into that range support pool. Haven't seen it yet, despite no bans, but it's been super popular in North America.
Yeah, when we've seen the supports that have clearly put a lot of games into support Zyra, the lane just looks really difficult to play with all the plants flying up everywhere. And team fighting, if you're ever trying to engage on Zyra, it just seems extremely dangerous and difficult. Combo that with the fact that they're going to have Azir to run through, and like that's already a formidable team fighting team that they've drafted.
Yep, Kindred in there as well. I wonder if TL are thinking about Siva on the other side. Maybe CLG, oh, they would have Caitlyn, so they absolutely can't take that away. Unless he was going real crazy. 10 seconds for CLG to lock these picks down, though. Yeah. Hui needs an answer for this Azir more than anything else.
I think so, and CLG decided not to ban that in the slightest. In fact, they're the ones that banned Rise. They're going to go with what is usually the answer in the LCK, is the mid lane Varus. It's an extremely popular champion over in the LCK for the wave clear and some initiation. And we'll see who he pays attention to that. We got 2 Korean mid laners. Why not 2 Korean mid lane picks?
Well, I saw the Zed and I was like, I kind of see what you want to do, Hui, but I don't think you're really a Zed player. Yeah. Definitely much more of a Varus player. So I do like the pick there. Afro is also going to go back to Alistar. So we'll see if he gets punished by Zyra, who's pretty good at picking on melee supports.
Yeah, if Afro ever goes in without his ultimate, he could very well get blown up. Dangerous pick.
Piglet with the Ashe actually locked in, I believe. So see what the last pick is for Lolo. No earlier this time. Maybe he goes back to Maokai. Maybe he switches it up. I would not mind to see him on a non-tank top laner, given that we don't know Darshan's pick yet.
Yeah, Fizz. Many build options. We saw the full tank Fizz earlier. We saw the Trinity Force Fizz from Seraph last night. But really, I mean, the Maokai would make the most sense unless they let Lorlo onto a carry.
Low.
Remember, this is vulnerable to a counter pick as well.
Yes, and I think that's the real concern for TL. So they do take the Maokai, fairly safe, but I think that opens up the lane for Darshan. It's like, we banned a bunch of carry top laners. Do you have any more? Because they're kind of opening the lane for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, they cycled through a few of them that we could maybe see him play. Has he put time on Alawi? Has he put time on a Riven? There's all those things happening, but with 4, arguably 5 top laners banned, if you consider Ryze a pick that Darshan has actually played in the top lane, the pool is dwindling.
Well, only 1 pick left here for CLG. So
that would make the most sense.
See what Darshan has in store. Fizz, you mentioned it already, seen it quite a bit. And there it is, locked in.
Fair enough. That could still be a pick that can get ahead of Maokai. We've seen plenty of Fizz Maokai matchups. I mean, even at MSI, we saw that matchup when Maokai was like super S tier and the Fizz could actually win the laning phase occasionally.
Is it fair to say that Fizz is kind of the softest of your carry options? Because especially when you build full tank, like it's clearly not a tank, but it's more on the Bruiser spectrum than the carry spectrum to me.
I actually agree with that. It's very similar, just spectrum-wise, to like an Echo, who's still going to be able to solo your 80 carry if he gets on him, but he's still going to be able to take a little bit of a beating when he gets caught against two people.
Well, we kind of need a new Echo here because he's dropped off quite a bit, actually. Yeah. So I think saw some bans yesterday. So I like it from Darshan. 5 top laners sort of picked away one way or the other. The plans seem very similar for these two teams, and I think both teams actually have successful looking compositions from the game they've already won in this series. Yeah, exactly. The thing with Team Liquid here is that they don't have the carry threat in the top lane, but they're still going very strong in the team fighting mode, whereas CLG, if you look at stuff like Varus, Oust, or Elise, they're going to be looking to get one person caught in the CC, chain that CC while they eliminate that person, and probably avoid full-on 5v5s without a big lead. Well, those are some of our thoughts, but we'd love to hear yours as well. Weigh in on this series deciding Game 3 with the hashtag TLWin or the hashtag CLGWin by tweeting at LOL Esports. And this final game, given the current track of the series, should be pretty amazing, and instantly we have to look at the jungle matchup. Kindred versus Elise. Dardoch and Xmithie have effectively traded 2 wins. Yeah. Now they have to play for the last one. Absolutely. Game 1 showed Dardoch just a massively good performance on Rek'Sai. Game 2 saw Xmithie crushing Dardoch's Graves. Kindred versus Graves. And here, it is the Kindred versus Elise, which interestingly enough, Xmithie is very confident on Elise into the Kindred matchup. In fact, during the NA Finals when they were playing against TSM and really throughout the playoffs, they were actually quite willing to let Kindred through, and Xmithie would play Elise into it. They were good enough at controlling vision, and they would consistently lock the Kindred in an Elise stun and burst before the ultimate would come out. So that's going to be what CLG looks to do against Dardoch's Kindred this game. Well, they're going to square off early on here. Dardoch hiding in the brush. Pops the W. Wolf takes a bite out. Who he's here as well. Auto attack? Here we go. Just a bit of damage onto Dardoch, but he's not too fussed. Looks like CLG might be trying to get a deep ward down. Could indicate a potential lane swap situation. CLG at least going to get that nice little crossroads ward towards the Gromp blue camp. So just the defensive level 1 wards. Interesting to see if CLG just tries to go full lane swap in this game. Caitlyn is obviously a laner who can deal with kind of any support and AD carry combo. But after Alistar, I just see a really, really bad laning phase against Syra Ashe. But obviously, super good roamer. So it would make the most sense if CLG could somehow lane swap this. Well, given the current situation, it seems like CLG will get their wish, if that's what it was, because TL actually sending their dual lane to the top side of the map. Oh, Hui, that's cheeky. Phoenix, though, going to answer back. Nice spacing, actually, gets out of the range of the soldier. And an early win for Hui in the level 1 trade. Yeah, well, what happened there is actually even smarter from Hui, because a lot of times with a Maokai in the game, the Maokai will prep some saplings to allow an Azir to one-hit 3 of them and then hit level 2 first. So that's actually exactly where Azir would be waiting to do that, so Hui could get in some nice harass with the Corruption Potion to add on top of it. Now we play the waiting game. Oh, Darshan's been spotted. He needs to get the CS. He can't get him. Nope. He's so sad. It's too dangerous. Darshan is so sad right now. Nice waiting game by Piglet and Matt. Well, Darshan looks at the last hits, tries to get them. He'll now have to swap out of the blind lane swap. Matt, though, level 1 fight. Keep getting gold, Matt. Money on Fizz. Hit him. Oh, he's got gold. There we go. Unfortunate. Darshan not going to go back, but unfortunately Xmithie already took the camp nearest to him, so he's going to be awfully late to that double jungle, which you mentioned in Game 1, sort of been diminished with the patch changes as well. So we do have a lane swap, but they do operate a bit differently now. It really has. Like, as far as double jungling, it just puts the top laner in an even bigger hole, because not only does the tier 1 jungle item give an even bigger bonus of experience, meaning you're punished more for giving any experience to the top laner, you can't share it either. All of the experience for the last tick just goes to a single person, so you pretty much only give that gold to the jungler, and the top laner pretty much just takes damage and does damage but gets no experience. Oh, Xmithie, I love this. Level 3 gank very early on. Who are you going to face check forward? And Phoenix is playing too far up. Phoenix going to try and turn it around, but Xmithie just applying that red buff, and Phoenix maybe trap! No! Whoa, Phoenix. He gets creep blocked in the mid lane. Trying to sneak out. So Phoenix still has flash and cleanse. He's looking to get the execute timer, actually. He thinks it's been long enough, but it's 15 seconds. We're going to find out. It is not! Xmithie gets first blood. Creep block doesn't matter, right? No, that was really unfortunate timing for Xmithie there.
That's one of those plays that could tilt a player, but it's not going to tilt xMsmithy because he ended up getting the kill afterwards.
Even if it had been an execute, lovely thought from xMsmithy and a great gank. Nice twist, Twisted Fate. Team Liquid are going to take that top outer turret, but will be answered in kind. Darshan and Lola are going to collect that local gold, so as is commonplace, top lane is going to get what advantages they can here.
That's exactly the thing, because it's even harder for them to double jungle, so teams need to compensate by making sure they get the full amount of gold from the turret kill.
Whoop. Nope.
Dark tried to be cute, wasn't quite able to execute the interrupt on a Huhi's recall.
And that's a tear up for Vera, so who are you going to start stacking that? Phoenix with double Dorans. Might help if xMsmithy does come wandering back to mid lane. And Dardoch going to take that down. That is the first bounty of the game. I might even find xMsmithy in this part of the jungle as well. As Afromu's made his way back to top lane. It's going to be a 2v1 versus Lola, who's going to have to run all the way back to that turret.
Yeah, I feel like CLG is pinged basically straight on top of Dardoch. I don't know if they actually saw him. Maybe xMsmithy caught him with the end of his recall, but they're going to be expecting of a gank. Huhi knows he is playing without flash right now, so he has to be extremely careful. And Phoenix actually has a lane in a really good spot currently. It will shove back towards Huhi, so he just needs patience.
Oh, patience he has. He's Varus after all, so long-range wave clear, sort of the name of the game. That one doesn't quite get it all down, but should be able to start taking these out. Phoenix, though, once again, playing up and aggressive with the Azir. It's no surprises, which is why xMsmithy visited, but I'd say Huhi might struggle in the matchup. We'll have to see. This is his counter pick, don't forget, but they needed an answer to Azir this game after the Game 1 performance, for sure.
Yeah, and Phoenix's Azir is just so good. Usually is on permaban status, but CLG is willing to let him have it this game. I mean, Phoenix did not start this split well, and also, you know, had been very vulnerable to early ganks, as we saw xMsmithy was able to get the early gank off.
Well, looks like we're continuing the lane swap here, and we'll play, I think, the most standard variation. This outer turret's going to be taken down. This will be top lane. It's getting some extra gold. Huhi again, trying to zone this out, but Phoenix able to dodge that first arrow.
Oh, Phoenix is getting so many soldier auto attacks in on a Huhi that this will swing the lane over time, I feel like, towards Azir.
Turret down. Lola shares a bit of gold this time. Zara able to collect some of that local gold. CLG, though, just going to keep pushing in. Smithy's busy in TL side of the jungle, looking for Phoenix again here. Ulti up for Huhi.
I'm really interested that they're going for this return gank when the first gank didn't burn any summoner spells. That's one of those situations, in my opinion, where you just kind of take the kill and leave it, because it's rare you get a situation where the guy can't use his summoner spells to get out of the lane.
Ooh, hello, Phoenix
my
in.
goodness.
Going in, but the ulti misses from Huhi. Phoenix still awfully low. This is a very delicate game.
Oh, he uses flash, though, to get in.
Teleports in. He still has the cleanse, but Darshan's at level 3.
So basically, Phoenix is trying to wait on a shifting sands. It's 3 seconds before he can dash away again.
Oh, no, Darshan flashes in, applies the dot, and does get a kill.
Not quite enough time, and a really aggressive move by Phoenix, which I think was unnecessary. I think that's him trying to win the lane back. Instead of just taking the farm and becoming a powerful late game Azir, goes all in on Huhi, doesn't have the burst to take him down, and then dies in the ensuing fight.
Level 3 Darshan challenges Dardoch. I think Dardoch knows he's in trouble, but the Black Pulverizer is there. Cocoon lands in, and that's enough for xMsmithy.
Hey, that's what they do against Kindreds. He's not even level 6 yet, but they just chain CC on it because Kindred is just such a squishy champion. Watching this one more time, you can see Phoenix is about 30% health before he does this combo. It was great that he was able to flash over the ult. Like, in that sense, it's a significant outplay, but it's not in the fact that he landed all his spells and still didn't kill him. So, like, that play was never going to kill without gank assistance. Teleport comes in from Darshan. Phoenix isn't fast enough to run away, and if it wasn't going to be xMsmithy, it was going to be Darshan who makes sure he flashes, knowing that he was going to be able to dash away with his spells soon. Kill secure for Darshan.
Yep, and worth the teleport, I suppose, given that these top laners have been very starved. Don't forget, we played a pretty extended lane swap here. You can see Lolo's actually significantly up in CS, so Darshan will be happy with both the kill and the assist that he's currently holding. 2 turrets down on either side, so long outer lanes here. We'll see how the top laners and, I guess, duo lanes navigate the next 10 minutes or so, as it's always a very different game after this lane swap. But Piglet playing up, level 6 ready to go. Darshan, though, finally getting some experience back.
Yeah, and xMsmithy is here at level 6. This is actually a totally gankable lane.
Matt may be in trouble, but Darshan's actually just going in for Piglet. Now the TP's coming in. xMsmithy leaps forward with a Venomous Bite, but Darshan is low. Playful Tricks is great.
Nice
and the
timing.
Grasping Roots is not enough. Darshan gets out.
Significant layers of outplay there by Darshan. Matt first missed the grasping roots, which could have secured a kill, but then playful trickstering right onto the twisted advance allows both xMithy and Darshan to escape. They burn the teleport in a 2v3, don't suffer casualties, and Darshan doesn't even have to base. He just goes right back to farming that wave in the top side.
To make it even sweeter, there is a siege starting, but Dardoch able to keep the wave off that tier 2 turret and stick Saiyan Afro away from it. Phoenix was threatening down. Smart play there from the Azir to make sure that that tower isn't taking damage for free. But as a result, Huhi keeping back even in the lane. Has that assist. Phoenix starting 0-2 again. Really feels like Phoenix was one of the big factors in game 1. Being held down here early can't be good news for him. Hui's going to take that blue buff and try and extend some of the advantage in the lane. It's okay.
Lucky that xMithy was so disciplined about that blue buff because he had red, so the red buff could have taken the blue away from Huhi since Huhi didn't necessarily time his damage properly. Either way, the handoff is complete, if a little bit scary.
Well, we'll have a look because we've reset again. These lanes are back to standard for now as Darshan and Lolo are actually 1v1. That is a huge wave for Darshan. Lolo, I don't think he even wants to fight with all his minions. Darshan's going to stand in the wave. Boosted advance is there, and now they start. And look at the damage.
Yeah, and I feel like Dardoch is here to try and convert on a kill. Darshan is just going to have to hide until xMithy can get here. This is a very close fight.
The fishing onto Lolo. Oh, boosted advance is good. Darshan going to move back forward. Lands respite.
Here's
time for
xMithy,
xMithy. And now Dardoch going to try and get the kill, but he gets stunned just as the ulti ends, and Darshan's still around. xMithy happy to fight. Dardoch going to get taken out by the Elise, and they'll chase on, rappel down xMithy, looking for the venomous fight. Lolo has so far to run away, and Darshan, playable tricks us forward. Twisted advance is there, but Darshan's got the damage, and CLG, huge outplay.
Yeah, and this could be the split where people stop calling xMithy underrated and just call him good. Because he is outplaying Dardoch 2 games in a row right now, taking the Kindred pick back, finding the timing on the counter gank, his synergy with Darshan. He is the one who's taking CLG back in this series. This Elise pick has been awesome so far.
Darshan's still chilling with some XP, but let's watch this again.
Yeah, I mean, Darshan hides in the brush. Dardoch guessed wrong on where he's going.
Oh!
He playful tricksters all the twisted advances.
And can't dodge an arrow.
Oh, man,
Nice
did he have the
Piglet.
cooldown? We were in replay, so we couldn't. No, he had everything up. Nice arrow by Piglet.
Well, Darshan's going to get the free recall, I guess. Picks up a Stinger and a Sheen. Got the Phage on the way, so it will be that Trinity Force which we saw yesterday from Seraph. Trouble here for Hui. Good flash ulti. Phoenix stopped in his tracks. Did not cleanse.
Yeah, but he still gets the flash out of Huhi, so you can take that trade. You burn ultimate for ultimate, and you also get the flash out of the other guy. So now a babysitting situation has to happen in the mid lane to prevent Phoenix from getting a significant amount of damage. So Phoenix is here, despite some overconfidence, still showing some skill.
Well, certainly talented. That's not the issue.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's what it cost him.
The decision-making and the discipline.
Well, Mountain Drake up, but teams aren't looking for it just yet here. Been all too much action in these long lanes. With Smithy lining something up in mid. This could kind of be a one-man show. Ooh, Darshan and Lolo.
Found him.
Fish lands. Oh, goodbye.
Oh, no. So the fish itself doesn't deal damage to break the recall. Oh, Lorlo gets out. A little bit lucky there. Darshan could have queued towards him to get the damage and then fished him and maybe lost a little bit of burst, but that would have been the smarter call. A lot of times when you get fished, you're just going to cancel your recall because you'll be like, oh no, he's coming to kill me. But whether Lorlo didn't realize what he was doing because he didn't see the fish come out, or if he was just really smart and knew that his only chances for the recall to complete.
Calculated. We'll give it to him as CLG are going to move down and take this Drake. First one of the game will go to them. It will be that mountain, so could play out nicely with the 280 carries at relatively long range. Given how open these lanes are. Probably going to pay off a little later. That's sort of Mountain Drake's thing, but always good to get the first one. Darshan and Dardoch once again. Uh-oh.
Darshan doesn't have any help, so...
Very nice mind game from Darshan. Dardoch's like, all right, you win this round. I'm out.
Now Dardoch should be pretty careful. Technically, they saw xMithy down bottom, so he has some time to take this buff, but they will be collapsing down on him.
Darshan's almost got his ulti back as well.
Yeah.
Fight for the buff? Nope, Dardoch gets it. He's got smite after all. Darshan wants to chase, though. Rift Herald getting angry. Oh, xMithy's here. The Phoenix with good damage. Zones the Elise out.
Team counter jungling is one thing we always like to talk about, and Dardoch was willing to stay safe right there because he knew Phoenix would have his back when he comes over for the collapse. Darshan not able to stop the red steal, and a lot of time also wasted from CLG when trying to defend against that. So, again, despite the bad start, still willing to make aggressive plays.
Yep. That's Dardoch. Only those 2 deaths, so looking okay so far as Phoenix clears out this lane. We did have a quick visit to mid by Stixay, who used his ulti on Azir, and then swiftly goes back down to the bottom lane. You can kind of tell just how long the push and pull of these lanes are, because everyone's just constantly moving around, because you really just sitting there, kind of checking your watch, waiting for the waves to come to you.
Yeah, and at least in the laning phase, it's been spectacular for CLG because Stixay and Aphromoo, if you're thinking of them as a duo, have actually won the CS war against the Ashe and the Zyra, even though I don't think there's much a pre-level 6 Alistar can do to an Ashe Zyra lane. Now that he's level 6, they have some all-in potential, so they can think about laning 2v2 again. I still think teamfights are going to be a really difficult place to navigate for Aphromoo against all of the CC that Team Liquid will bring, but he's going to try.
Well, for now, everyone's just farming up. Next Drake is Infernal, so always good for that team fighting situation. Imagine both teams will look to that once it does spawn, and again, because of the nature of the lane swap, the game has been kind of extended a bit more. This next dragon will be pretty much smack bang in the middle of the mid game. And it feels like it's one of those games where despite the early action, CLG getting 5 nice kills and about 2,000 gold up, we're sort of getting to a point where everyone's going to farm up, and then we'll see how the teams want to play the map at like 20, 25 minutes.
I agree, and this is definitely the closest of the 3 games we have seen. CLG's not clearly running away with it, even if they do have some slight edges. The team fighting from Team Liquid still looks very formidable, and they haven't like completely lost control because Xmithie is stacking up on Kindred. He's still getting a bunch of kills, but at least does not take over a game the same way 9 marker the Kindred can be.
Certainly not. So we're checking with the AD carries just briefly. Piglet does have the rune and Hurricane, but collapse here onto Darshan. Red buff not applied yet. There's a good ulti. Dardoch's out.
Yeah. And Darshan needed to do all of those things to escape. It was a red buff Kindred coming towards him, so he had to dodge the first auto attack, and then the chase would have still persisted from Dardoch, so the ultimate needed to be used to peel away. Doesn't even really get great vision for that roam, but I think he was just hoping to find a safe place to farm and was unable to find it.
Trinity Force done now for Darshan. We'll see how Lola, with a much better start to this, can maybe navigate that 1v1, although both junglers paying a lot of attention. Dardoch in, but Xmithie gonna burst him down. That Cocoon is such a good tool. Now going back in with the Venomous Fight, but Dardoch dancing back. Gonna try and fire some shots out, getting over the wall. Rift Herald smack. He's out though.
Yeah, the unfortunate life of Kindred. You dash over the wall, you're gonna piss off the Rift Herald. Either way, still trying to farm up. This game definitely slowed down a little bit, and Team Liquid keeping the percentage gold very close.
Blue buff 2. Ooh.
Not intended.
Well, see what Lola can do with it, but Phoenix going to be a bit grumpy. And now the Rift Herald for realsies is going to be started by CLG.
Yeah, they have pink ward control in the river, and yeah, they're not having enough control, though, because they actually hadn't forced anyone to recall. Maybe they're hoping to sneak it.
Yeah, maybe. Would have been a great thing to take for CLG. I think we're starting to see Rift Herald become a very important objective, especially when people are playing these more bruiser, more carry style top laners. If anything else, TL either want to make sure Darshan doesn't get it, or Lola gets it just so he doesn't get it.
That's exactly it, because it's not that important of an objective when it's a tank versus tank matchup, but if there's anyone on either team that wants to be a split push threat, it immediately jumps in priority.
Back in the bottom side, Stixay farming away on the plants. Got a kind of a mishmash of items there. I think he's going BF Pickaxe Runins, but we'll see. Maybe completes that Infinity Edge earlier as CLG. Yeah. I'm gonna go back onto the Rift Herald in slightly more interesting matters, and this time TL are not in the area, although Piglet will spot them with a nice hawk shot.
Yeah, he sees them, he pings it, but they have no one in range, and CLG's just gonna commit to this one. They would still be able to run away very easily if someone were to come stop them, and that's huge. Darshan with his Trinity Force, and now that buff until 37 minutes and 25 seconds.
Well, lasts for so long, and Darshan, who does love himself a split push, is gonna start pressuring that top side of the map. Ashe actually going up to answer right now. So we've had a big wave clear off in the mid lane, who is actually ahead in CS by a decent margin, but Phoenix's Azir in just a fine spot. Ghostblade done for Hui, so a bit of early power there in the 1v1. But again, it's been a lot about map movement and junglers once again. We can see how important Dardoch and Xmithie have been to their teams, and we've really slowed this one down after CLG's early action. They're keeping up nicely. 2,000 gold is a nice lead here at 18 minutes, but maybe TL springing into action. Going to send 3 people towards this top half of the map.
Yeah, and maybe this will have a little bit more to do with Dragon stacking when you consider how COD will come back into this, because like Xmithy, like we said, can't carry the game on at least as much as you could with the Kindred. He's 3-0 when he's turned that actually into a locket, which is really just some team fight defenses. And now the split push is actually just staying pretty standard. A 3-man push in one lane. Darshan actually teleports. If they don't get substantial work done with this, they're going to lose an inhibitor because they actually just use their teleport to get away.
Phoenix in, but he puts the ulti just to sort of get them off it. TL is still in that tier 2. This is a huge mistake.
Yeah, huge mistake for CLG. Team Liquid's going to roll all the way through to the inhibitor, but now Phoenix gets a little bit caught. Even so, the inhibitor turn is being taken on the other side.
Yeah, look, they get the kill, but this is a mess here for CLG. Team Liquid should be able to take this inhib, and CLG, I think cross your fingers and start racing, but they are hitting the recall buttons.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Darshan. He was in position to kind of defend, and he should actually have been calling for help rather than to teleport elsewhere. 3 people, including 2 marksmen, are pushing down that lane, and they had the head start on CLG. That inhibitor being down, and those minions aren't going to be easy to clear 19 minutes into the game either. That's now a full-time defender in that lane, which is going to give Team Liquid about 4.5 minutes of pressure on anywhere they want on the map.
I mean, this is the play they tried to make here, but...
Yeah, Fizz teleporting in. Maokai just flashes away, and then Phoenix even goes super aggressive just to make sure they can't take down the outer turret. They eventually do after they kill Phoenix because Phoenix gets a little bit too greedy. Basically, Phoenix was thinking, surely they're not going to continue this dive. They're recalling to try and stop our inhibitor, so really Phoenix is just trying to stop recalls there. Ends up costing him his life, but it does secure the inhibitor for TL.
Yep, and you can see that CLG did actually get the mid-outer turret. That was Huhi's business. And Infernal Drake also picked up during the replay by CLG, so I believe they have that to add as well. Unfortunately, they do have a wide open space in the top half of their map that they have to deal with. I mean, Darshan wanted to be in a lane anyway, but it's so tough for him now to apply side lane pressure, and TL really have a lot of momentum here. 20 minutes, a crucial time in the game. They're going to try and at least do damage to the mid tower. Yeah,
maybe it's the long con. The best way to freeze a lane is to make sure the other lane has a super minion. Not quite. It's going to be really tough for them to maintain presence in this mid lane. Stixay and Huhi are going to have to wave clear well. They're capable, obviously. Varus and Caitlyn, tremendous wave clearing, but this is smart of Team Liquid. They should be pushing the other 2 lanes with their 5 people since they know there's only 4 people on CLG to defend.
Well, right now still grouped. But looks like Lolo's down on that bottom lane ready with the teleport. Huhi does not have one, so kind of a strange place to be for Varus. Is TL going to rotate over? That should cue Huhi to get out of the way. As TL are just looking to set up some sieges, it feels like. Again, Darshan all lonely in the top half of the map. TL, we'll see what they get done, I guess, with the advantage they've opened up for themselves, because they do need to capitalize on CLG's mistake.
It'll be a little tricky to work through the wave clear, and there's not too many optimal targets for Piglet's Ash Arrow. Cleanse and Alistair, who can they hit?
There's one, they hit Stixay, that's a big target. The damage not quite there for the follow-up. Afro, though, taking shots in the front. Now forced to pop the ulti. Team Liquid, that might be enough to get this. And Matt's around the side. Afro back in, looks for Phoenix, does find him. Rest by Pop, but Dardoch gets the first kill onto Afro. Dardoch gets out of his ulti and then weaves back in to make sure he stays alive. Kindred with a double, and TL break mid as Huhi pops out the ulti, but it's not enough to stop this as Matt stunned up on the other side. They're going to dive in for it. Darshan here as well. Very chaotic fight. As the fish lands, it's onto Lolo. I don't think that's the target they want. Huhi is trying to snipe somebody as Phoenix. Deep as always.
Yeah, that is very well executed by Team Liquid and some questionable execution by CLG. The Ash Arrow was exactly the way Team Liquid needed to engage that, and Piglet was rightfully very patient with his usage because he knew there's so many targets that he really just can't hit. Everyone can avoid it pretty much except for Stixay, so he fires this in from Fog of War, giving little time to react, and bullseyes on a Stixay. Notice Matt also chained the CC. Afro then moves forward to try and disrupt them, but he actually ults very late. He should have been ulting to prevent that damage so he could stay under the turret. Then he tries to initiate on the squishies, knowing the tank is around the backside, but it's just not going to work. And Dardoch is able to pick up 2 kills and then very smartly flashes away from Huhi's piercing arrow, which could have killed him. And then in essentially a 3v5, I was very surprised to see CLG trying to go in to turn this one around. Team Liquid can just back away, and CLG doesn't get anything off of the turret death.
Well, TL with great work done there. Actually not quite equalizing the goal just yet, but certainly have control of this particular stage of the game. Baron is the next target. Xmithy arrowed. Repel up, Jack down. Phoenix gonna chase. That should be enough. Xmithy still taking fire. Lolo locks him up, and there's the shutdown.
And it was Baron threat that created that. CLG took such tremendous losses and then extended the fight beyond that point that Xmithy was really scared they were going to be taking Baron. And again, Piglet's Ash Arrow was right off cooldown. That's high accuracy. I mean, he actually got the Darshan kill earlier on in the game with us. That's 3 kills generated just because of Piglet's Ash Arrow.
It's been on point. TL are going to start this Baron. Smithy's dead for 15 more seconds. 4v5 defense for CLG.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky without the spread of a steal. It's going to be a full-on fight.
Who's going to get it? It will be Dardoch smiting it down. Afro in the front line, forced to ulti a little early. Ulti up
Where's
from Hui, he's gonna
Darshan?
zone
He's
them
just
out.
waiting off in the side.
Got Matt, that's maybe a kill. They will get it. He hops out of the way. Afro back in there, gets a knock-up, and Dardoch taking fire. Stixay gets the first kill. The ace in the hole's going to chase down chip damage onto Lolo. Phoenix blinking low health bar, so he flashes in for it. Top side though, Piglet not so lucky, and Stixay gets a crit for the double.
Hard to say who actually comes out ahead on this fight because the Baron does go over to Team Liquid, but they end up suffering some casualties on the other side. Darshan maybe patient to a fault in that fight because it felt like TL was all in the Baron pit, kind of just asking to get super engaged on, and Fizz would be the person to do that, but at the same time, CLG didn't want to engage into a Zyra ultimate, which is maybe what TL is waiting for with Matt over on the side. See, he puts down the Zyra ultimate as the Baron's being taken. After he's the only one who gets caught in it, and then Darshan is able to find a good entrance into the fight. Looks like Matt stepped on a Caitlyn trap. And Stixay can just keep bursting down the damage. Almost a kill on the backside as there was a flash Varus Q attempt, but Darshan secures a kill on Piglet, really equalizing the gold from the Baron encounter.
Really nice play from CLG. Get a few kills for themselves, keep that gold up, but barely. About 500 gold. Still in the lead in this particular game, and TL, that inhibitor's back up in top lane. Looks like we've sort of reset the map once again, but there are big open holes in this battlefield, it feels like.
Yeah, I'm so happy this game 3 is turning out the way it is instead of just seeing another stomp in one direction. Notice that the Baron gold was pretty much equalized. Baron power play currently sitting at plus 238 gold. That includes the gold you get from the Baron, so very close in that sense. And really it's going to be this next Drake that becomes relatively important. CLG already with 2 Drakes. If they start stacking up too many, that just makes the Elder Dragon overpowering by the end of the game.
Well, Drake up in 23. Piglet clearing this out with the Runins. See Hui actually starting to do good damage with his poke, as he is actually running into problems now every time he face checks a piercing arrow.
Very important that who he can poke, and very important that Darshan can flank. Whereas for Team Liquid, it's all about who they can get with the Ash Arrow. As we said, he has to be so perfect with these because he pretty much has to drill Stixay or an isolated target who will then use their escape, but it'll give Team Liquid the time to catch up. So really tight game here. Could break open really at any moment.
Dardoch is really playing dangerously. He's cut off from the rest of his team, but TL going to put up the turret. They're actually going to go in onto Dardoch and try and take him down. We'll pop the ulti to buy a bit more time. The fish, though, should be enough to clean this up. Not yet, no. Dardoch gets out. Matt's here as well. Darshan will live, and the dot damage isn't enough for the Kindred.
It stuffs the pusher on the other side, but Dragon is live here, so the question is CLG overcommitted because of what they burned to make that happen? Afromu's low, there's no ultimate on Darshan, and the Drake is still a potential thing to take. This is really interesting. Dardoch is going on a hero mission to push the inhibitor with no teleport up on CLG. Wow, Darshan goes to defend it preemptively.
He has to go back. There was a huge wave there, and as you can see, it arrives, and Darshan clears it out nicely. Drake over to CLG as well. They'll pick up the Cloud Drake to add to that tally and get their 3rd of the game. This game is awfully tense.
Yeah, and the trade at the end of the day does go over to CLG right there because TL could not use their Baron-empowered minions to make anything happen. Dardoch was split off from the rest of his team. Whether it was a split call or whether he was just hoping to pull off something by avoiding a flank, we'll never know, but it wasn't good. And the game is slightly in the favor of CLG.
Yep, CLG sort of have a chance to push these waves back out as well. Darshan TP almost back up. He's going to start the split push in a very long top lane. As CLG just trying keeping things under control. Turret's pretty even, so no real threat just yet. I guess apart from the wide open inhibitor. So CLG are keeping good tabs on that. It's TL just looking in for that next team fight. Baron not up for a few more minutes, so with Drake down as well, it's kind of hard to pick a spot for this fight, and both teams know that one big mistake will really start to cost them at this point.
I think so too, and Stixay is one item away from being able to have a QSS, and that really limits TL's ability to pick fights with the Ash Arrow in a very tense game. It's also, I'd love to run some tests about Mountain Drake with suboptimal teams for taking objectives, because on Team Liquid side, they have the Azir and the Kindred, which could take Baron really fast, but CLG does have Mountain Drake. So like both teams have Baron Rush threat now, which again, I think favors CLG since the composition favored Team Liquid, but still, it's gonna be really key that either team can take Baron and Elder Drake very quickly.
Right now, CLG is sort of sticking to the plan that they're really showing off. A lot of spring and a lot of MSI. 6A pushed out a wave in top, going to get that going. Lawler now has to go up to answer that. Meanwhile, Darshan with his TP also ready. Going to queue up that slow push in the bottom side of the map. So CLG really trying to play the lanes here at this point.
Yeah.
Keep TL back as best they can, but TL just need one good fight.
It's true. And oh, that's so much poke.
Aframu getting low. No Rylas yet, though.
And the poke landed
Ooh,
just the right
TP.
time because Lorlo was trying to flank with teleport. That's why Pivot had moved up forward, trying to get almost one of those point-blank Ash arrows. Credit to Huhi for being able to land that poke at an incredibly important time.
And if CLG can just keep this pattern for a little while longer, Darshan is going to really rip through some structures in the bottom side. Remember, this is Trinity Force Fizz, not Asmon Gauntlet.
Yeah, exactly, and I think he's at one of his most powerful points in the game as well, the 20% CDR from the Triforce and the tankiness from the Sunfire, but he's getting collapsed
Maybe
on.
not, because the rest of the team's here. Lolo locks him up, Playful Trickster's good, Darshan fishes out, but the arrow is true from Piglet. Dardoch here to clean up the rest of the damage, and he will get the kill.
Definite over-eagerness there from Darshan. Like, even though he has Playful Trickster and he's a little bit tanky, how was he planning on escaping that? He didn't have coverage wards. CLG didn't have immense pressure on mid lane, and they wouldn't be able to push through the Azir, so he pretty much just gives up a kill.
It's in hole. Oh, Phoenix
Oh.
can't get there in time.
And then on the flip side, what's Matt doing there? He doesn't need to be there. Azir's got the turret on lock.
Oh no, that's bad for Phoenix. He's popped the Sonyas. Stixay just takes him out with one fell bullet.
Pastry! What's going on right here? I'm trying to figure out...
People are getting caught, Jet.
Phoenix cupcaked himself right there as he was trying to clear all the wards. Stixay headshots him. I'm actually going back to watch this as they continue to get the siege because I do not know how he's just getting himself caught.
Well, CLG will break this tower and equalize the structures. 5 turrets to 5 now. As some very choice openings now emerge for CLG. TP in, they're going to go straight for this turret.
Yeah, they're just going to continue to push off Phoenix being down. They go hard.
Dardoch in just gets blocked up there. Stixay's able to take him out. Zyra ulti gets 2. Xmithy repels out. This turret's broken. Now Piglet in a whole host of trouble. Darshan straight on top of him. He's already chunked up by Hui, and Darshan, he's going to have to stop now, but the rest of the team's there. Stixay flashes forward now, dominating as he takes out the Ashe, and Lolo wants to get a few kills back. Looks like a juicy arcane smash, but Lolo's zoned out. Matt gets locked up for the kill on the left-hand side, and Darshan is going to win his 1v1.
So many people super low on CLG. Would Phoenix go for another hero play? He has flash.
Got ulti. Ace in the hole is going to keep him back. Hui threatening with poke, and CLG may push to end.
They keep pushing. I mean, Phoenix got to try to make a play at some point.
Hits a cocoon, he hits a bit of
Cocoon.
poke.
When's he going to go?
Time to go. Repel out. There's one. Darshan going to move in. He's going to kite him out. Phoenix. Huge pushback. Gets Afro. Not enough. The exhaust is down, but Dardoch gets back. No, CLG. Take the Nexus and the series.
What a chaotic ending to a crazy series. Stixay's Caitlyn comes up huge at the very end, but just a series of misplays, I have to say, for Team Liquid, because CLG actually started that whole sequence from a disadvantage. Darshan was split pushing and died unnecessarily, and then I did go back and see it. Depending on the angle of Phoenix's camera, the turret would have been blocking the vision of the cupcake that he stepped on, which then he Zonius because the headshot was coming his way, which allowed CLG to catch them and then just push their advantage again and again. So at the end of the day, it is teamwork and the ability to capitalize on small mistakes for CLG that just kept happening again and again and again.